Greetings from Lots Gamer, and welcome to another session of staring at this cheap mouse mount bought off Amazon that I'm slowly beginning to regret buying. But that's not what this is about. This is about me returning back to have another try at one of these lovely, nasty old pink DS's. After the look that I lacked last time doing the DS Lite, honestly, I broke three. Three of them making one transparent machine. Let's grab him down just to... So yeah, in the process of making this guy, I broke three other DS Lites. Learning curve, guys, learning curve. So I backed off for a bit and did some other things. So I've got this crunchy old pink DS that I bought from eBay, or Fleabay, or whatever you want to call it, a few months ago. It's quite clearly had something done to the screen at some point, because this is wonky as hell. I don't know if you can quite see that, but that is not straight. That is like super on the twist. But not only that as well, I mean, I'm surprised the hinge is still in one, but this whole thing just sounds so crunchy. You know, this is going to break. So we're going to put it in a aftermarket shell, which I've put somewhere. Here it is. My aftermarket shell is of the blue variety here. I've read that these aren't great, but it's going to be better than this thing, which is probably going to crack to pieces in a few years' time. Luckily we got a new screen, so I can resolve... That's one issue I can resolve immediately, is Mr. Wonky Screen there. So we can get Wonky Screen straightened up again. Cool beans. Go away, DS. So in the bag we get... Let's tear it open! Make sure that's all empty. Blech. Don't be in. So we have a nice black back piece. Relatively straightforward. These don't feel great. Wow, these don't feel great at all. These are probably going to last as long as that has before they go crunchy. As usual, we've got a nice bit of sprayed plastic to put on the top to cover the ribbon cable. New buttons, bits, screws and bobs, but we never use the new screws because they're always shit. Nice blue front. Now that's going to be a big improvement, isn't it? That's going to be a massive improvement over what we've got there. I mean, the pink on it for a start fades like crazy on these original DS's. The DS Lite not so bad, but the DS Lite I did that was pink was even crunchier than this. As you remember, it just sort of shattered to pieces as I was stripping it. So I'm expecting that again on this. I've never taken a original DS to bits before, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little bit easier than the Lite, as it was a bit more fiddly. So there we go, the whole top piece. I'm assuming that doesn't slide like the DS did, so I would assume that's all clipped. But we'll find that out as we dismantle this. I wonder if they gave me a nice little blue Nintendo decal to put in there. I really wouldn't want to take the old one off. Oh yes, look at that. Everything you need in the bag, sir. In the bag. So let's just get all this cast over to one side, because we shan't be needing this yet. We've got to strip the guts out of this bad boy first. So let's get rid of him. So yeah, you'll need a crosshead and a tri-wing as per usual with the DS. I'm assuming inside you'll also need a pair of tweezers just to pull the ribbon cables out. So let's get unscrewing and commence with the unscrewness and unscrew this bad boy and get rid of this crunchy old shell. It's got a lovely yellow colour there. Look at that lovely yellow stylus. Oh, ducky, that's beautiful. So anyway, hey, here we go. Battery flap's gone as usual, all over the floor. Come here, you. Well, you've still got the screw in. Fun, crunchy pink battery flap. It's got an old battery, but there's no bulging. Wonder if that holds a charge. Well, it holds some charge because it's got a little on there. Okay, so the case has come away there already, which means it's just a case of lifting the case off. But behind the battery, as I have not noticed there, we have two more pesky tri-wing screws. So looking inside here, we just need to pop a few edge connectors off the ribbons. Come on, Mr. Camera, you can do it, you can see. So we've got a ribbon connector there, a ribbon connector there, and a little antenna there, which we can always just pop off these lovely little studdy things. Off you go. Now looking in there, we will just need to... Okay, they'd lift. I wasn't expecting that. This must be a later version of the DS, because I'm sure they had the different style of a clip there. These just lift up, which is made my life a lot easier. So that should just come out like that. And if you're not careful, there's two underneath, guys. I didn't see that, and I've just yanked one out of the plug, so be careful. Fingers probably aren't best used for this. So I'll just pop those clips down ever so gently, because if the case of this machine is already crunchy, then I'm sure where your ribbon cables go will get just as crunchy. Out you come. Come on. There we go. That's probably not the best way to do it, but I am a heavy-handed guy. So, and then we've got one there. Just pop him off. That looks like all the connections that run through from the front of the system to the back. We're just left with 1, 2, 3. Oh, when they've gone with crossheads on the inside. Nintendo and their lack of consistency with one screw type makes me piss. So, looking at that, we will need to remove 1 or 2 or 3 screws. If the DS Lite was anything like this, there's going to be some pesky springs in the triggers that are just going to go pew! Trust me, I lost a lot in my carpet last time. So let's just get these 3 screws out. I have also noticed screw number 4 in the cartridge slot, guys. Crafty as crafty can be. So I'm going to lift fair gingerly, as this corner seems to be. Alright, cool beans. There is your DS circuit board. Set him down there because it's not required. I have a piece of foam on the back of here. Stuck on really wonky, man. I mean, if this was done in a factory, it's so wonky. So underneath there I can see a ribbon. So let's just peel this back to see what we've got. Quite a nice adhesive back on this, so that should just stick back down nicely when I'm done. But for now, I'll just get that out of the way. So we have a ribbon cable running just there. And it is stuck to the screen. Okay, so this is where shit usually goes wrong for Knox Gamer with Nintendo products. So I'm going to very gingerly peel that off. Alright, so we just get you out of the way again. You can stay there with Mr. Screwdriver. Okay, so why did you glue it down? Why did you glue it down? Right, so that's freed up. That's freed up. Lovely. Panic over. Temporarily stick you back there. So, what else could possibly go here? I know underneath there that, yes, I have heard of this legendary screw that trips people up. Under your ribbon, if my zoom works correctly, there is a little bloody flipping pain in the arse crosshead screw there. Get him out, ladies and gents, because that is what rips most ribbon cables on disassembly. This little shit here. So yeah, I've got absolutely no idea how the ribbon cable comes out, so I'm going to be a little cautious there. I may strip the top screen first, just to see, because the way the hinge pin's in there, I can't really slide the screen this or that way to remove it, unless you poke it in, possibly. But I'll pop these 4 screws out first, see what we've got inside the top. Does that pop out? Is it clipped in? Am I going to make a mess? Is it going to break? What day of the week is it? Is it raining? I don't know. I can't get in. So I'm going to butcher it. Sorry, guys. Ah, right there. Okay, butchery is the way it's clipped. So if we straighten the cable out and just feed, that's pretty easy. No trimming the shell like we did with the light. May need a gasket. Pretty sure I've got a spare one of these, so I will go and find out. If not, we'll recycle you in a crude fashion of some sort. Well, if it doesn't come away, I've got enough material left to sort of make a gasket. And then my trusty left-handed scissors, because I'm weird. So put them to one side. I'll try and get that out first. Should just should lift out, but with the age of the machine, it's probably gone brittle, which it has. And it's going to come off in little pieces. Obviously, this prevents the Nintendo DS screen filling up with dust. And because I have giant hands, that's not going to work, is it? So we will not use that. We will just put that there and just begin transplanting into the other case once we put some on it. In fact, let's just shove you in. Keep you all together. This has actually come off in one piece, unlike the DS Lite, which, as you remember, just sort of crunched into pieces, man. Okie dokie, okie dokie. So, I don't know if there's going to be a screw hiding under here. I won't point past him. The speakers don't require any wiring, so they should just lift out or pop out. That should just lift off. And the screen, this is where we work out if it's been glued in by somebody. Lovely. I was expecting a meaty crunch there. Right, there seems to be a spacer in the bottom that's come away. And there we go. Just going to put that face down in a clean area, because I didn't want any dust. Dust is my enemy. But yeah, mate, I mean, you can see, look how wonky that is. Look at the line going uphill on that front screen. Is that even a front screen for a DS? Or has it just been used in that way? I mean, look, it's thin there. And it gets thicker as you go along. The black light. This is just manufactured bad. Okay, so it's an aftermarket bad one. Pretty sure though we need to keep these. Without losing them. Don't lose them. Okay, so on with the blue shell. Just give that a pop like we did with the pink. Make sure not to be heavy-handed prat like me and scratch the outside. Or just use a plastic tool. You know, they are available. In we go. Straight away, that's not fitting. Whether or not I've got it upside down, I don't know. We'll get that other speaker in there first. Get this side in. He fits nice. But you, my friend, you don't want to fit. Okay, so there's a bit of the case interfering with mine there. I don't know whether it's because this case is for a later or earlier revision of the machine. But there's a channel there that isn't present. Just there, with an extra channel that's not present on my original. So I'm just going to have to get my flush cutters and unblur my image and trim that away. So now we've removed him. Just untangled all this mess here. it fits. Quality. Right, let's just screw those two in while I remember what those two screws are for. I am assuming these are going to be an absolute nightmare to line up, so just be prepared for that. Now, I'm not sure if they have to be in a particular orientation. They were a tight squeeze to get out, and they're going to be an even tighter squeeze to get in. So let's just see if we can't make a mess of that. We have a large one and a small one. Looking at that, the large one from this side. On the original DS, there are cutouts for the orientation of these. And on my aftermarket case, there isn't. Okay guys, just remember to get these clips in the right way round and at the correct orientation in the notches, because if you push them in and they're not, you stress the living daylights out of the plastic, and that could potentially snap once I've assembled it. I don't know, so just be very careful. This one went in fine, but that one I got at the wrong angle and I nearly split the plastic apart, so be ever so careful. The notches aren't obvious, but they are on this. They're just really difficult to make out. So now we've got that in, what we need to do is get our microphone cable down the centre, or whatever this is. This black cable here, this one, I don't know what it is. We need to feed him down the centre, and then we need to also feed our ribbon down the same hole. So that looks like it's all pulled through, everything's okay. So we just need to click the hinges in. So let's pop our bag of bits open, because now we need to just drop the little ribbon cover on. Oh cool, so we get new blue feet, we get some new sticky pads, and a new set of buttons. Oh cool beans. We even get the sticker for the back. What we need to do now is just drop that on over the front. Or is it over there? Like that. Just to keep all that together. Right, so after much forcing, I mean really forcing, because these hinges, man, having never reshelled one of these before, I don't know if these are just tight, but wow, these hinges are tight, man. Really, really difficult to sort of shove in the machine. What I was coming up against is one there was hitting this, so I thought I'll trim the case a bit, which has made a little bit of a mess, as you can see, but I'm not too fussed there. Learning curve, guys. Managed to get it on without damaging anything, so I'm just going to pop the four in the front here, just to hold this guy together, and then we can move on to sort of getting everything into the bottom shell. So we'll just get these four back on, if I can remember where I put the four front case screws. Which I do believe are these ones. Be careful, because the shell naturally is flimsy cheap. If you over tighten the screws too much, you get lovely sort of indentations poking out of the plastic. And on the front of mine, where I screwed the speaker post boards back in, or the speaker boards back in, I've done exactly that. So just be really careful and mindful of that, guys. Otherwise you end up with a DS with nipples, man. So my DS has nipples. So what we need to do now is get some gasket material in here and a cup of coffee, because we're doing this for ages. Okay, so what I did is I saved you all the boredom of watching me take nearly 30 minutes to stick 4 bits of gasket down. A lot harder than I thought it would be with my sausage fingers. So we're going to give the screen a spritz, get a bit of alcohol on, clean it all up, and we're going to drop that in, get the board on, and see what we have. Plop him back down. Screen is in. Just press it against that gasket so it adheres. Remembering to peel back the foam from earlier, as the back end, the back of this should still be relatively sticky, or sticky enough just for me to get it in position on there, and just pop that back over it. Man, that won't go in at all. Just get the original. X, Y. Okay, so the case is shit. I've seen this before. The case is shit. It's not going to take these. Right. Because that, I mean, come on. Have I got to press that? Have I really got to press that? Wow. So, it looks like what I'm going to have to do is just bore these a little to get the buttons to fit. That is a little ridiculous, as these holes on the front aren't really that round. So with a rounder holes on the front, they'd wish they were round, and there's another scratch I've already put in there. I'm so good at these things, aren't I? Right. What I'm going to do now is I've managed to get some nice fine grade paper for plastic. Was it P1500, if anybody knows what that is? But this is great for bringing a shine to 20 plastics as well. So hopefully it won't be too coarse on the case. So I'm just going to pop this through the holes on the case and just sand it. So what we have to do next is drop the main board back on, which we left here right at the beginning. I'm just making sure there isn't anything else I've forgotten while I've tidied a few of these bits away. All will be revealed when I flip this over and see how many extra nipples we've got on the front. Okay, so I haven't come through. Just the 2 nipples on the top. I've got a 2 nipple DS, guys. This DS is quite happy to just have 2 nipples. It's not greedy, doesn't want any more. Ignore the fingerprints. We'll get that resolved later on. So that's all in. Now that remains to do is to plug these fiddly little contraption cablers back into the board. Much easier than the DS Lite. I don't care what anybody says. Let's just cram the back on and see if this works. Watching you, Mr. Left or Right button, whichever one you are, you're a pain. Oh yes, the aftermarket shell is truly delightful. Just test before I cover it in rubber feet, so I just have to press that down while I open this. And there we go. Do we have volume and touchscreen? Touchscreen is good. just crucially test that with the game really quick. The Chrono Trigger off the pile, first one on the shelf. So I'm a weird guy as well, guys. Okay, you'll find this out over coming videos in the future. This is just me going off topic for a moment. I've got a funny habit of keeping the receipts for my games in the cases. So I bought Chrono Trigger on the DS for £16.99 in 2010. I mean, I don't know what this goes for nowadays, but Chrono Trigger is quite a sought after RPG. But it's just always interesting to open a case and say, oh yeah, I bought it on this day. Wow, it cost me that much. Yeah, irrelevant, but there you go. Let's just pop Chrono Trigger in quickly and make sure that this boots a game. I may just grab a Game Boy Advance as well, just to test that, as I never did. What I didn't realise though is how many dead pixels are on the top screen. So somewhere down the line this will need the top screen replacing, but it was a cheap eBay thing. I just didn't realise how many dead pixels it had. The Game Boy works in GBA mode as well, with loads of dead pixels, man. So somewhere down the line there's going to be a screen replace video of some description here, but there you go. The one thing I'm glad they did give me with this is the cool little Nintendo badge there, which really does finish it all off. So you just sort of drop him on there. Here we have it, everybody. I've reshelled this one with minimal fuss for once. Snots Gamer comes through one without bodging it up in one go. So there we have it, the Nintendo DS reshelled away from its crunchy pink form, which, may I add, is really crunchy. Listen to the crunch. Oh god, this plastic's so bad. Ah! Right, look, it's terrible. Yeah. But thanks for watching, guys. We've taken a nasty old Nintendo DS that was feeling rather crunchy, yes, and rehoused it in something a little less crunchy. The only issue I had was the case doesn't quite go together there, but this is what you expect with aftermarket stuff. It's not brilliant. It doesn't fit great. I mean, I'm surprised these shoulder buttons even work at all on that, because they barely press. But as they go, it's not so bad. We have the machine running, working fine, touchscreen works, volume works, buttons work. It's all good. So all's left for me to say now is thanks as always, guys, for tuning in. If you did enjoy this, please throw me a like. If you enjoyed it even more, please feel free to subscribe and definitely share it so more people can see the crap I get up to. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of my favourite DS game, which is Sonic Rush, featuring one of the greatest soundtracks ever to grace a Sega game. I've been Knots Gamer. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. And that's where we die, guys. See you next time.